Are we live?
Yep.
Sweet. Okay, so we're automatically gonna have to edit out the start of this.
That's completely fine.
The other thing we haven't talked about is what's the official name of this thing?
Oh, sweet.
Running on Stoke.
Running on Stoke.
Running on Stoke.
What was the? I think yeah. Running on Stoke.
Running on
Running on
Stoke.
Stoke.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm stoked to be running
yeah,
on Stoke.
I'm stoked, baby. Yeah, to be running on Stoke. So welcome, guys, to the first episode of Running on Stoke. I'm Chris. I got. So we got this fun soundboard we're figuring out, and then I got here.
I'm Jacob. That's me. A couple good buttons on here that we will experiment throughout the experience here tonight.
Yeah, so bear with us for this first one. Probably gonna get in some pretty fun stuff. It was a big day for me personally, but I guess we'll get into just kind of how nuts it is that me and Jacob are in Florida at training camp. And this beautiful man, Wilkerson Given, he comes up to us and he just goes, I gotta tell you guys something.
I'm gonna give you two idiots a podcast. I know it's hard to believe. Between me and Christopher right now, there's maybe 2 or 3 brain cells rattling around, and we're in charge of this.
Yeah, it was pretty. I didn't know. At first he starts giggling, and I go, we're in favor. I'm like, it's gonna be sick. I don't know what it's gonna be. I'm like, I know Des has one, and I'm like, we got to be in that realm of famousness. So I was pretty excited. And then he shows us the picture, and running on Stoke, and we just freak out. And we start damming each other up. And then we were like,
thought for sure we were just getting a flavor still.
Yeah,
at that point,
yeah.
I had no clue. Absolutely no clue.
Yeah, and then he goes, you guys have good banter, and I was like, I'm like,
he went British for a second.
Yeah,
I do remember that. It was crazy.
So here we are. Thanks for tuning in. It's probably our parents, some their family, but I hope people are gonna catch on.
Shout out to the probably 9 people that are listening to this at the current moment.
Yeah,
you're on the ship early.
Yeah, and of course, we got to also give a shout out to Stoke here, the elite nut and seed butter. Wilkerson and his partner started this company, and they've been grinding, and it's coming up. It's really good. I've been using it a lot in Florida because the product's in the house, and it honestly goes great on toast. The new flavor is absolutely killer, and I'm blanking on the name right now, but apple walnut.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't blanking. I wanted to see him waffle for a second.
Yeah. So thanks for that on the backup there.
Yes.
So we're really excited about the new flavor. Zach Panning is also very excited about it. I'm sure we'll have him on.
Zach has no clue what's going on 90% of the time.
Yeah,
but he is excited about everything.
And God, does he feel left out of this?
There is nothing he'd love more.
Yeah. So I guess we'll kind of get into our first talking point. Like I said, it was a big day for me. UMass alumni here, and it was great. I was at work today. It was a long day to start off. We'll go up to Lake Orion where we do the group runs, which is great, seeing the community members, and then went to shower, working my 6.5-hour shift, helping people with their foot problems, making a real difference in those people's lives.
Now, I've got plantar fasciitis. Now, could you help me with that?
The Brooks Ghost, you tried that?
I have never.
So there's a lot of that going on. And then during that whole time, I'm trying to watch an absolute just bloodbath of a conference meet between my alma mater, UMass Lowell, and the U Albany, whatever they call themselves there, the Dogs. And it was
that calls for a
I'm getting a phone call here from my buddy Justin. Shout out Justin.
You gonna take it live? That'd be insane.
I should take it live, but we'll wait on that.
He'll say something.
He
Crazy.
probably will say something. He's a great guy. Where was I? We were talking about running, and I mean, it was just nuts. I was watching this guy watch the Super Bowl, and every single play is life or death, and that's what I felt watching this, and it's nuts. I'm sitting there live scoring splits for the difference of what a place was.
Tears coming into your eyes.
Yeah, tears coming into my eyes. Yeah, the women's team won by 0.5 points.
How is that possible?
You have a tie in the field events, so it ended up being 196.5 to 196. And it was the first time that Albany's lost in 18 years. And it was a massive moment because personally for my coach, coming in building a program, and they finally achieved double indoor champs against an absolute juggernaut. Of course the men, we'll have the gunshot ready for this, but of course the men absolutely mopped the floor again for the second year in a row, but the women was really impressive to me. And it got me thinking, like, that's great. And, like, I mean, it's a mid-major school. It's a mid-major conference. So that, you're not having some of these killer times, but racing is racing. And, like, it's entertaining and it's nuts. It's, like, because you buy into these teams and you follow them. And, like, granted, I was a part of the team, but
I don't think that plays any role, does it? As
not
we're
at all.
talking about it right now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to verify.
Yeah, but I feel like there's a market out there that they should pounce on. Because, like, right now it's like you have, you top your dogs and they run and it's just, like, disorganized. And I feel like if you can even target, like, sub-tier athletes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
and, no.
Like, if the American Track
Bunch of
League...
16, like, flat 5K guys duking it out. There's nothing I'd love to watch more, honestly.
Yeah, maybe a little quicker.
I don't know
but,
about that. Can you imagine getting crazy? Like, just, you're hell-bent on watching, like, a wild NAIA race. Like, you're tuned up for it.
Yeah.
There's nothing you would love more than this race to be crazy.
You see, like, you really could go to that extreme. And, it's like you see guys that are working hard to get that 1 point for their team because it makes a difference. And I think it also just helps build a team and, like, have people continue in the sport by, like, fighting for those intermediate things. And I think that's why college running is so special. And it's like you just have guys that are putting it all out there for, I mean, on the paper it's it's not impressive at all. But then, like, you look at the greater thing and, like, what it means and all the guys celebrating. And, like, I wish that there was something in existence now where it's, like, almost like the American Track League.
Yeah.
Say, like, you pick, like, 5 coaches and they go out and they form the best teams they can, like, all around. I'm talking distance running, sprinters, field events.
That'd be sweet. It'd be a ton of fun because you'd have people that would interact, like Ryan Krauser and, like, Noah Lyles, who you normally, like, wouldn't think about.
Yeah.
Like, and they're vying for one, like, major goal that cannot be achieved by just their performance. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. And then, like, even obviously trying to get one of them to do that, like, they're world-class athletes. And they're already doing pretty good. So, maybe not even that, but to start out, it's just, like, getting, like I said, like, the people who are almost good enough to go pro, but,
some
like...
schmucks like us.
Yeah, probably someone like us, honestly, yeah. I mean, I would love this system. And it's like the American Track League, say, or just, like, some form of a league puts on individual meets around the country, and then all the teams go to it, and they race, and yada, yada, yada. So it's more, like, individual for a while, but then I like how it all comes together at the end, and you get that team aspect and that fighting. And I feel like that's good, and it builds storylines, like, years and years, like 18 years the Albany women won. And this storyline builds, and, like, if you follow it and there's attention for it, that's how you gain interest in something.
What if you built it like the Prem League, how you're going for certain, like, you have a certain number of meets throughout the year, and you're getting certain points from how well you perform as a team there, and it's just, like, a team race the entire year. That'd be kind of interesting, too.
Yeah.
So that, like, every meet has, like, a little bit of emphasis, too. Like an actual league it could be. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
It's a hard concept to think about at times.
I do like that idea, too. There's just something about that culmination. Like, it all builds to that one meet. And you get to see, championship racing's awesome. Racing is fun. Like, watching people go fast is really cool if you're, like, a nerd.
Cool.
Like,
I'm a
me,
nerd.
Anyone that's, like, probably listening to this is like, oh, like,
Yeah, actually. Like, it's pretty sick to see.
Watching someone run 7:23 in the free.
There's nothing. You can't see it again.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe at times.
And I mean, it's awesome, and like that was a great spot for that. But at some point, you got to dumb it down because, I mean, traveling. I've experienced this more now, post collegiately. But you travel and someone asks you like, "Oh, you run professional? Like, what's that?" And they,
you got questions yourself.
Yeah, yeah. And they ask you like, "Oh, what's your mile time?" And you could say 7 minutes, and they're, like, blown away by that.
They're dumbfounded.
Yeah. So, like, the average person has, like, no concept of what fast really is, like, at a certain point. So that's where I think, like, racing and, like, good, challenging racing with storylines and teams and year after year, the same people, and you can buy in and follow them is a good way to go to kind of build in some, like, people who aren't exactly in the sport, and then people who do like the sport. It's also cool watching championship racing.
Yeah.
Like, there's meaning behind it, and it can be... I mean, look at USA's. There was a lot of exciting races there, and like the winning times were. I mean, I don't think they'd win a lot of college conference meets.
Yeah,
but it's still fun racing.
Play a little bit into it, but
Yeah.
I mean, the 3K went out in 4:46 though. That's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, there is a line to cross, especially at a certain caliber of athlete. But like, I still enjoy it, and it's fun seeing like everyone bunched up, and you never know. Like even today, this kid, my old team, Joe Young, is an absolute just baller in these meets, and it's like. he doesn't get any of the credit for like running a really fast time, but like this dude kicked so hard
He's just
today,
a dog.
like just absolute like blackout crazy, and like you could see it like physically. He's like all out, and it's so exciting to like see that and like how much it means to somebody.
Tap out part of his life right
Yeah.
there. He's like, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm calling it right there.
I mean, you know, he definitely has that drive in him, so I'm excited to see where that goes. But I
Dog
would
of the
just
week,
like that.
potentially. That's
Dog
a
of the week.
Dog of the week.
I'll give him dog of the week.
Dog of the week.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's just kind of what I feel like that would be really cool. Do you have any negatives to it?
I mean, like in the pro scene, I don't think there's any negatives to it. In college, there is negatives. The only thing that I would see is like if you're somebody that's a national caliber guy that's going to be vying for like an All-American, and your coach is like you're tripling at the conference meet, then it's like, what are you prioritizing? A national finish or a conference finish at that point? So it's like that's the only time I could see it being in a negative, because I raced in conference races for like 3 years. They're grabbing our flag and planting it in the middle of the infield on the other track. Like after I just ran like 4:09, I thought I was the hot. It was insane. I was genuinely surprised that nobody tried to attack me. That's what's cool about conference races, because you just get that jacked about stuff. It's a Division II conference meet. And I thought it was the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'll attest to that. I mean, you know, my time, I literally got in an altercation with another athlete. He like grabbed me in the 3K, and after my go, I was like, don't ever have to do that again. And you know, it had been building, I guess, and you know, then like there was like some shoving. It was just, honestly, it was pretty pathetic. A bunch of like cross country guys being like, "Nah, don't touch me." But like, it honestly like kickstarted like this massive rivalry and like gave a lot of meaning to training and like that build, which is interesting. And like you don't really have any of that now. Like you have guys who will be like cocky and like are like villains, but there's none of that like for the team. Like I don't like, if you're on that team, like I don't like you. There's not really any of that in the sport right now, and I feel like you do see that. I mean, even today, like, this girl went around, one of our girls had punted her into a lap runner, and she, like, rallied and won again, and it was sick as hell because, like, that, like, they needed those points to win. And, like, I feel like it's just so elevated, and you get so much more physical, and, like, because you can just see how much it means. Like, if you're trying to just run fast, like, you're not doing that.
Yeah, you're not body checking as much as you are, and if you're just like, I'm gonna be so crazy and try to win this conference title.
Yeah, no. And like,
we're gonna run crazy slow early, but then we're gonna close like bats out of hell.
Yeah, and you just see just stuff that you don't see in normal everyday racing. I feel like that's a great way to bring in, you know, people who just see a race and they're just watching racing. You're seeing people like, you know, get physical, and you're like, wow, like that's kind of, you know, that's kind of cool, you know, as opposed to just like, oh yeah, they ran fast, and you know, you have no idea even what a 3K, how far that even is. So I think it's a good way to bring in a little bit of just storylines and interest into just everyday boring track.
Nah, I agree. I'm like, that's, I think, how we could grow the sport beyond just, you know, what it is currently.
Yeah.
As a viable option.
Yeah, the other thing I think would be cool is also, like, the team-wise. Like, you look at colleges, and it's like, they have so many resources.
Yeah.
Like, they have training rooms, they have training staff, they have weight room staff, they have weight rooms, they have travel cover, they have like literally anything you could possibly imagine, and it's like better than a lot of like pro programs have. And I feel like that's part of the problem is like if you have these teams that are dedicating and putting resources into like these athletes to grow them, like I think you'll see an overall increase in the quality of the sport, because somebody, like I said, who might not be an all-star making the Olympics, but given a chance to go out there and like score points for a team in this league, like you're giving them extra time, you're giving them the resources, and I feel like it's like more in their interest to invest in facilities if they know that this team's going to be around for a while. They know the athletes are going to be around for a while, and you're trying to develop them, as opposed to just like you're getting a guy that's good and you're like, all right, we'll go to a local gym, like yada yada yada. And
you might also get a couple of like diamonds in the rough too. Yeah, that kind of like fell through the cracks and just needed like a little extra time to, you know, become that world class like runner.
Yeah, and I think
like a guy like Zach. Great, I mean, like, was really good coming out of college, but like, I don't know if even he would have predicted how fast he's run so far, and like the fact that he's just now getting there, it kind of just shows that like a development system like this, like you can have guys come out of it that are really strong.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I feel like even outside of distance running, obviously we're distance runners and we're gonna be distance heavy, but I feel like it's like a lot of the other ones too. It's like if you're not good enough, like there's no market for like okay shot putters.
Yeah, I was about to say like it's insane because they're like, I mean, most of them that are unsponsored are like higher quality, like in their like discipline than I am, and they're like no help. Yeah, it's hard to believe. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, you're crazy good at throwing something that heavy that far,
Yeah.
and we're not paying you somehow.
Yeah. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like the caliber of some of these athletes who just get to the end of college and are done. If you could then give them just another life and just allow them to perform and, like, do what they, like, enjoy doing and display that. Because it's just, like, I think there's such a gap between the elite and then it's, like, okay. And it's, like, hard to almost fathom how good they are. Like, the reason, like, football and stuff is entertaining is because, like, they're elite athletes, but they're playing against other elite athletes, and you see, like, there's tangible things, and, like, someone can go out there and, throw a football and kind of understand it. But I just feel like, if you kind of bring it down, and there's people competing, like, all the time that are closer and, like, a full level, I think it's also another good thing to show, like, how impressive some of these dudes are who are, like, second tier, and, like, how ungodly good they are.
It is hard to, like, fathom, like, how the like, just scale of professional, like, running and track and field is.
Yeah.
Like, you'll get some people that, like, there's no reason I should ever toe the line with them. Like, just different humans. Not a chance. Like, racing like a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to believe that they allow that.
Like, yeah. The other thing that's interesting is, like, like, where I've gotten my clapped a lot, both collegiately and even in college. They're just smacking us around. But then it's like, you go to, like, like Kevin had us run turkey trots, and you just show up to something like that where there's, like, thousands of people, and, like, they're people, like, they train, and then it's like you just go out there and it's like, oh God, like, like, maybe I am kind of good at this. But again, it's like, it's crazy how it's just like you're either like bam, and then you're either an Olympian, or it's like you're just kind of like a local 5K
guy.
Yeah, and it's like there just needs to be something in between.
You're not going to be the dog of the week.
Yeah.
Like,
You're not.
Not contending for that.
Lining up next to 5 Olympians, and your race plan is follow one of them, and it's like, oh God, that's tough.
I know I can't do that. I'm gonna try like hell, but like it's gonna go south at some point, and you're gonna have to understand why.
Yeah. So that's kind of my little rant there. I was really gassed up earlier. I was saying we delayed this a little bit, but I probably been more unhinged, so I apologize for that. But
would have been a mess. You would have been hard to contain. I don't think we would have been able to turn these mics on.
Yeah, probably not.
Not a chance.
Yeah. So here's the other. I guess we'll move on to this one. This one's pretty good. I used to dibble and dabble in let'sRun a lot. I have since tried to swear it off because
he's in recovery. It's not going well, but he's in recovery.
Yeah, it's it's an addiction, and so we're gonna play a little game here. I don't know if you guys are familiar with let'sRun, but if you ever go on there, there's this thing called the boards, and it has everything from let's talk about world cross country to stuff like
normal topic, by the way, for a running website. Normal topic. Yeah. We're gonna start there.
It's stuff you'd expect, and then it's like things like my wife has gone to sleep quicker than normal. Is she leaving me? So yeah,
these are like again, like the first one, very okay on a running site. The second one, not what you're looking for as a consumer of the website normally, but it ropes you in every single time. Yeah. You're more invested in the marriage than she is at that point.
Yeah. And it's not something like you got to like go finding for. It's literally
normally the front page. It's
we
insane.
might be able to edit this in. I don't know how this works. We're still figuring it out. But you just open it up. It's like on the boards, and it's like this is the top of the top. So I'm gonna ask Jacob here a couple of them. I screenshotted, and we're gonna play let'sRun or Reddit thread. So let's start it off with.
There's not a chance I get one of these wrong. By the way.
Okay. Have you ever wondered how long it takes a giraffe to throw up?
let'sRun, absolutely, not a question.
Yeah. Okay. That's Reddit. Yeah, I know.
I thought you were gonna start off with something really bizarre.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm gonna try and trick you on some of these. So
we'll call that a foul ball. So
all right,
that's nil right there.
So this one is looking for some runner guidance.
I mean, that would have to be let'sRun. If that's Reddit again, I'm gonna slap you, or hit you with the where is it? There we are.
Yeah, I hate to do it, but that's also Reddit.
Oh my god.
Okay.
If these are all Reddit, seriously, we're gonna toe up by the end of this.
So here we go. Here's the next one. I installed Tinder and made a girl account to see what men's profiles look like.
Give me let'sRun for 500.
That's let'sRun.
Thank you. I believe I read that thread, actually.
Did you?
Yeah, just curious.
Yeah, do you ever click on these?
Absolutely, every single time they get me.
They're crazy.
Yeah, no, because the crazy part is they got like 900 replies.
Yeah.
And you go, there's 900 people that were like, all right, this has got me enough to type on their keyboard.
Like,
that's a weird position to be in life. I'll say it.
I think it's nuts how like you go on there too, and there's like people that obviously like chirping them, and they're like, you're being posting this, and then there's like people who are generally like, hey man, like if you need anything, like I'm here.
You're
And they're like putting
they're
things
building
like
communities.
their actual like advice, and it's like I'm like God. I go, if you're
That's some free therapy.
I go if you're on this website, you probably like running. You probably run. I would assume.
Sometimes I wonder though.
I do too. You
Genuinely.
think like you go to a run group, dude. Like go ask
you
around.
you can't say that crazy shit at a run group. Are you kidding me?
I
that is how you get arrested in public.
I mean, I know people.
You cannot say that to another human that you don't know that well. You expect to be able to say
It's
that?
the running community. People are bad.
Yeah,
crazy.
but like I can't imagine just coming up to somebody at a random group run and then unloading my marital problems after knowing them for less than 3 minutes.
Well, I mean, you probably build.
Oh, you're saying.
No,
so you have a
you don't
friend
just
at
show
this
up and you're a
point.
mile in at
You're
9,
like,
10
oh,
pace, and you
God,
go.
me and the wife are splitting up. What's the deal, huh? You
go-
think it's me or her?
You go. Oh, my wife thinks about other guys. Like, should I leave her? You don't drop that right now. You wait a bit. You wait.
You gotta warm them up for that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy to think.
Yeah, I
You
know.
couldn't just unload that immediately. That seems like well-adjusted behavior.
Yeah. All right. So we'll go 2 more here.
Could go all day.
Yeah. Why do women's clothing lack pockets?
Oh God, that's Let's Run again.
That's Reddit. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Thought you were
I'm throwing
going
you
for
for
me, man.
I'm throwing you for a loop here.
Have you noticed I haven't strayed away from Let's Run?
Yeah.
I'm dedicated at least. You gotta
I'm
give me
just
that.
showing how nuts some of these things are.
Yeah, you dug deep in these.
Oh God, I'm running. Just like so, all these Let's Run ones too are all from the same day, which is nuts.
You just tipped this off to me. This last one's Let's Run.
No, I think I'm out on Let's Run ones. Actually, this one's just funny. I'm tipping you off. It's
Okay, that's fine. You
yeah.
can
My
tip me.
wife said Yellowstone Park is getting ready to explode, and all of Oregon and Northern California will be gone.
She's being so crazy.
Yeah, that's a running topic.
that's what that segment's gonna be.
Yeah,
She's being that crazy right now.
that is. Yeah,
That's hard to believe sometimes.
Yeah.
That people are like, "Yep, I'm gonna say this." Like no indications. They're like, "I'm gonna say this thing,"
and
and
it
then
gets-
I'm gonna convince other people, including my husband. Yeah, I'm being so crazy right now.
yeah, and it gets
It's
on the
hard to-
boards.
Yeah,
Like
it gets
yeah.
on the boards because other people are saying it too.
Yeah,
You're
that
like,
yeah.
oh God.
The boards on that website need to die.
There's
know.
some good ones.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, I talk all this crap right now, but I read them. Like I'm feeding into the problem. I am part of the issue.
Yeah.
But like,
My good buddy back home, he says he starts his day off every morning by opening Let's Run and having his cup of coffee.
oh, that's a tough morning. That's a hard start
He
to your
does
day
every
because
day
you're
checks
seeing
it.
something nuts by like
Yeah.
8:02.
Yeah, he's nuts. He's like, I never post. I'm like, I don't know if I believe that, but
He's definitely he's lying right to your face. Like I'm
Yeah.
sorry to this guy, but
I
like
mean, yeah, nothing gets me ready to like
I've
computer
commented
code.
on there. I've said
Yeah.
crazy things before.
Oh yeah, I'm not proud of half that I've said on there. Most of it in self-defense of either myself or my teammates, because I'm an absolute self. What do you call that when you're God?
Self-deprecating.
No, I mean I do that too, but I just absolutely someone says something about me and I'm just like, I'm like no,
Oh, anger management problems.
Yeah,
That's
probably.
what you have.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just gonna turn into therapy, I think, for me and
We're just gonna figure out
yeah,
what
me
is
and
wrong with
Jacob.
each of us,
yeah.
and it's not gonna be that accurate.
I'm also gonna need to get a better chair for this because I feel like a freaking sloth.
I just think I have a hunchback. I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you.
I think I do too, honestly.
Do you think we have scoliosis?
Hopefully.
Is this more than therapy, or are we also getting like
Yeah, we'll bring in a doctor.
MD?
Yeah.
Oh God! You imagine we get a live doctor in here? They're hard to get though.
Oh god, that'd be good. I don't know. You have anything else? I mean, I don't really even know how long we've been going. Do we have a timer on this thing?
Is it
24 minutes.
20. Wow,
That's
that was
hard to
24
believe.
minutes.
felt like
Hell
5?
yeah, we were in for about that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I have at least
Yeah,
2 or 3 more
yeah.
hours in me, but like,
Yeah, we'll save that for next
Well-
week. Should we got to bring him on camera though, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
come
like
on, we gotta
it's tough to not
demonstrate
have
you.
Wilkerson on camera.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get him in the
We'll close
shot
it
too.
out.
Yeah. So we'd like to thank you. I'm Chris.
There we go.
We're getting
Yeah.
real close.
We're getting crazy close.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So
3 deep,
um,
2 chairs. Hard to
yeah.
believe.
So
So well.
you want to say anything? I guess before we bring it up. Wanna plug your product.
I think y'all did a good job to start it off plugging the product. No, excited for the future of this podcast. I think we got two great hosts right here, and excited
Oh God.
for the laughs and the good information too. 2 guys who are experienced in the sport, have a lot to offer, and
Yeah.
let's keep it rolling.
Yeah. Crazy to think. Yeah. I promise they'll get better. We'll have guests. probably guests we have no business having on here because like this guy's a network genius. So I mean, we'll probably get some crazy people
that
on
will
here.
never remember our names.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
fine.
And honestly, we might even keep it. We'll talk around a little bit, but we're definitely.
We'll say things.
Yeah, I mean, I want to know what makes.
running.
Yeah, we want to know what makes these guys tick. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. I assume at least one of my family members is watching this, so thank you.
I would assume a couple of mine are as well, and I'm so sorry if I've said anything that has offended you so far. And it's all in love out here.
Yeah. So thank you.
Let's close it out.